Truckers Voices. Tell me what got you in the driver's seat. Tell me what your favorite kind of truck to drive is. What are some of the stories that make your life? And where'd you come from? Did your daddy drive? Did your grandpa too? Was it in your blood? Was it something you chose? Tell me what your favorite kind of road to drive is. And what truck you're in. Truckers Voices. Tell me all the stories that you have. Tell me what you...
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Trucker Voices. I'm Tim Taylor, and alongside me is my co-host Steve Brand, and we're honored to bring you the conversation that spotlights the men and women who keep America moving. Before we get started tonight, we want to give a big shout out to our incredible partners with Reese Across America Radio. You can catch us there and also streaming on Odyssey and TuneIn. We're grateful to be a part of the platform that helps us share these powerful stories across the country. Now, tonight, we got a very special guest, a man whose career represents excellence, professionalism, resilience, and heart. He's been with UPS for 34 years, with 23 years behind the wheel of the big truck. In 2025, he is named fourth quarter driver of the year and overall driver of the year by New Mexico Trucking Association. He's a Twins Division champion, a Rookie of the Year at the state level, and a Rookie of the Year at the National Truck Driving Championships. And he finished fifth nationally in the Twins Division. He also served proud as a road team captain for the American Trucking Associations, representing safety and professionalism across the country. But beyond the trophies and beyond the titles, he's an 8-year cancer survivor. I think that's the winner of them all right there. A husband, a grandfather, and a man of faith who understands what truly matters in life. So tonight we're honored to welcome Jeff to the stage tonight.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Jeff, before we get started, I'm going to have Steve-O read our disclaimer up here. So, Steve-O, real quick, just give me a minute before you do that.
Opinions expressed on Truckers Voices are those of the host and the guest and do not reflect the views of any employers, affiliates, or organizations. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Good job, Steve. I'm going to start paying you more.
Sounds good. Hey, I just want to tell you, in a past life, I was the guy playing the guitar. I can't play anything, dude. I used to play bass guitar when I was a young teenager, but that's went by the wayside. But anyhow, so hey, welcome to the show, Jeff. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for carving out time, and hope you didn't have to push it too hard to get to us tonight. But I'm sure our listening audience is going to enjoy what you have to say and the stories that you bring to the platforms. You can find us also on truckersvoices.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major platforms. iHeartRadio. You can find us anywhere. All you got to do is type in the keywords Truckers Voices. So, Steve-O, let's go ahead and get right on into this conversation with Jeff. It's so good to hear you, and I'm excited to hear what you got to say.
Yes, I'm always excited. And Jeff, let's start in the beginning. How did you first get into trucking industry, and what drew you to the trucking industry?
Well, honestly, I just needed a job. I was at a local company that had shut down that location, and my ex-wife and I were pregnant she was pregnant with our first child. It was, I think, October, November. Christmas is right there. I needed a job, and she grew up across the street from somebody who worked at UPS. So I was able to use his name, got in, loading to start out with as actually a temporary peak hire. And they typically hired college kids at the end of, I think it was Christmas Eve. I had my kind of exit interview, and the supervisor at the time, she says, well, this isn't really going to support a family. And at the time I was working 3 jobs. So I was working the preload on at UPS. Then I was waiting tables at Red Lobster at lunchtime, and then delivering pizzas in the evening. And I knew that UPS had a great reputation of being a good company to work for. I had friends in college that had worked there. And I said, I'm in here. This is my priority job. And she hired me back. I think I was off the week, came back January 2nd, and started the, I guess my permanent part-time career there, and then worked my way up to driving after that.
Okay. Tim, how long have you been with UPS?
I've been with them for 34 years. I did 2 years on the preload, loading the package cars. Then I went to delivering for 8 years. And then it's been 23 years in the feeder department driving the semis.
Okay. All right. Well, you told us how what drew you there. What has kept you there all these years?
I love UPS. They took a chance on me hiring me, and honestly, they pay real well. We have great benefits, and I'm just it's a great place to be. I get to drive. I get to look out my windshield. I'm not in an office that, like my wife, may not even have a window to look out. I get to look out at some beautiful scenery that I've come to really appreciate over the years, and have met some great people along the way.
Right. Well, you said you've been driving big trucks for 23 years. What was that transition like, starting loaders and then into the small trucks, and now what was that transition all like? Kind of explain that to us.
I think that it was all the same for me. I try to be a hard worker, try to be an honest worker, and a safe worker. And I brought that to each of those positions. It just went from handling boxes to handling a package car to even bigger equipment with the semis and the big trucks and twins and everything else. So, but I still have that same ethic that I bring of working safe and working hard.
When you compare the industry to then to now, what changes stand out the most to you?
I would say it has to be technology, especially with driving the big trucks, the advanced driver assistance systems, the automatic cruise control, the blind spot monitoring or alert. It's just amazing what these trucks have to help us to drive safely around other vehicles out there.
Right, exactly. What's a typical day look like for Jeff?
Well, I start my day at 6 a.m, and I have either one long box or a couple twin trailers, and I drive up to Southwest Colorado, and I meet a driver out of Salt Lake City, and we, of course, UPS, we're hauling everything. Could be medicine, it could be a video game. You just never know. But for somebody, it's always important. And we exchange trailers, and I come back to our building, and that's my run right now.
Right. Right. Do you experience a lot of the bad weather out there that we see on TV and everything? Or
I've had it this week a couple times, and up there it's a lot of ice, and I've learned it. I don't like it, but I learned how to drive in it, and you slow down, and it's just the experience of driving that for 23 years that you can't take chances. You can't be in a hurry. You just got to slow down. You got to give that space in front of you and on the side of you. There are people out there who will go fast, and it's like, you go right ahead, good for you. And I hope I don't see you down the road with you on the side of it.
Exactly. One more quick question for, do a little trucker talk here. Do you have to throw iron every once in a while?
I haven't done it in a couple years.
Right.
Last year I was going out towards Amarillo, and I didn't have to do that. But the year before, I was going back up to Dove Creek, Colorado, and there was a couple times I had to throw the chains on, and that's an experience too.
Oh yes, sure is.
So, Jeff, I'm going to jump in here, and I want to move on into another section of questioning here for you. Competition in America's Road Team. Let's talk about that a little bit. So, in 2025, you were named the fourth quarter driver of the year and overall driver of the year by the New Mexico Trucking Association. What did that kind of a recognition mean to you personally?
When they called me up for the driver of the fourth quarter, I had no idea I was even up for any kind of an award like that. One of our other drivers got the driver of the third quarter, and then I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And then they called me up for the fourth quarter, and then he kind of whispers to me, just stay right here. And I didn't know what was in store, and they had given me that award. And like I said, I was surprised. I didn't expect that. I'm one of those guys that doesn't look for awards. I just like to do my job and go home. But it was such an honor to even be considered for that and to win that award. And I guess it's just a validation of everything that I'd been doing up to that point. I didn't know that they even did these awards. This is all brand new to me, just getting into this whole other aspect of trucking. And it was a validation that I'd been doing it the right way all along.
Right. And when those validations come and you don't expect it, because I remember whenever I was the 2018 Georgia Driver of the Year, I'm like, who, me? And then 2024, I'm a TA Citizen Driver of the Year, and I'm like, wait a minute now. But you know what? You don't expect those, but you know what? Those are the things that, you just do your job every day and try to do it with good ethics and for the right reasons. And that's what it's all about. You just do your job for the right reasons, for sure. You won the Twins division at the New Mexico Truck Driving Championships, and you was named the Rookie of the Year. Walk us through what that experience was like.
The whole thing, I almost didn't even enter the competition. As far as UPS goes, we only got involved in this in 2024, and one of the drivers who started it was talking to me about it. He had met somebody in Phoenix at their local rodeo out of Chicago, and they were talking, and he kind of brought it back, asked me in 2024, and I thought, oh yeah, that sounds fun. And then he mentioned the Facts for Driver book, and I kind of said, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then he started talking to me again this past year, and I said, all right, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll do it. It sounds fun, and something that just really sounded fun. It was almost like a challenge from him. And I didn't see any of my boss for like a week and a half. And I thought, hell, nobody said anything. I don't have time. That day I see my boss. He's like, all right, we're going to sign you up. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I got the book about 2 weeks and 2 days before the state competition, and just kind of tried to drive, jump into that. Had some help from the driver in Chicago. And then our teammates were, I think we had 1 weekend to practice any kind of driving over cardboard in our yard. And then you get to the state competition and just, it was real stressful, and, it was overwhelming being that first time. I didn't think that I had done very well, and it turned out I did. And it was I think my teammates were more confident in what I had done than what I was for myself. And it was crazy to be called up there and to win those awards.
Right.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then you went on, to compete at the National Truck Driving Championships and earn Rookie of the Year and finish 5th in the Twins division. Now you're at another level. So, how was that experience at that next level?
That was crazy. It was exponentially more stressful. I don't think I slept the whole time I was there, but I met some incredible people, and I think I was so overwhelmed I didn't get a chance to meet like some of the other company drivers. I met a few of them, but I was just so happy to be there, and so kind of focused and nervous that I think once you're there, it kind of gets you to calm down a little bit because you've experienced it. And just being there was crazy. But it was, such a great experience. It was the funnest, most exciting, stressful time of my life.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So let's move on, because you've been on a roll here, and you've got a lot of accolades going on, and then heck, you just step up to the plate, the ATA's road team selections, and you obviously did good because you're an America's Road Team captain. And so tell us, what does that role as being an America's Road Team captain mean to you?
That's tough because I've heard drivers describe it as almost a Hall of Fame of truckers, and I have a hard time looking at myself as being one of those guys. I don't like, I'm not a braggadocious guy or anything. I just like to do my job, but it's a huge honor. It's a huge honor because all these guys are quality individuals who care about trucking, who care about safety, who want to pass their knowledge on to other people. And that's really what I want to do. And so it's a huge honor to be a part of that.
Right. Exactly. For someone that's listening out there who may want to get involved, if they have questions about the America's Road Team program or would like to learn more, who should they contact?
Well, that would be Serena Barnes, Sareena, and then Barnes. And she can be reached at sbarnes@trucking.org.
Okay. And they could talk to any captain.
They could talk to any captain. We'll be out there at events, and we can point you. If we can't answer it, we'll point you in the right direction. Any questions that anybody might have.
And you just got on the team, so you haven't had a chance to do an event yet. We're just starting to come out of winter, and I know it's getting crazy up there in Washington, D.C., and they're getting phone calls and trying to get things straightened out and in the truck. So it's going to get busy quick, and you're going to do real well. And if an organization, a school, a community group would like to request a captain or even America's Road Team truck for an event, what's the process to make that happen?
Well, they can go to American Trucking Associations and look that up, or trucking.org. They can go to the programs and under the programs is the America's Road Team. And right down there is a button you can click to submit a form, and that goes right to the team at the ATA. And then they will reach back out to the event person and get something set up. Hopefully, get us there.
Awesome. And
So let me jump in here right here, Steve. So
go ahead.
sbarnes at trucking.org, or they can go to trucking.org, right?
I believe that's correct. Yes.
I believe I got it on the screen correct there. Yeah. I'm going to leave it up there for a while.
There you go. That
All right.
like a heck of a deal. I'm going to kind of go back to the truck driving championship, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what kind of preparation goes into competing at the truck driving championship? I know you said you didn't have a whole lot of time, but
Yeah.
I know you're going to do it again next year. So kind of tell us what you're in for.
Oh yeah, I definitely caught the bug, and I met some incredible guys on the UPS team, and we were on every day on conference calls going over that book. And there are some of them who are who they said were crazy or psycho on it, and not everybody is, and that's okay. But there are the guys, and just even at the state level, I met some guys that were, all those guys are incredible. They are, and that's something that I kind of learned, that it doesn't matter if you are a driver with FedEx, driver with ABF, anybody else, you kind of are there on this, at this family. And I got a lot of help from other drivers at UPS, some even at the other companies. When I was getting ready for nationals, I had a couple of our guys come out on the weekend, help me just run some, basic obstacles that we kind of thought of. And again, this is only the second year we've been doing this at UPS in New Mexico. So we don't have a whole lot of knowledge. But one of the guys was setting up some pre-trips. I had my wife out there helping me on a setup course. I had the two drivers. One that I really loved was I had my dad and my brother out there, and that meant that meant a lot to me, to be able to share that with them. And then I was out there by myself too, doing it.
Right. And that's it. It's a family affair. You have your blood family, you have your trucking family. And if you can get your family involved, like you said, your dad, your brother, your wife, your kids. I had my youngest son, he got involved, and I always make this little joke. And I said, there's nothing more disheartening than you pull up to a bullseye and you see this little 10-year-old put up on his tippy toes, and he looks at you and he's like, really? Dad? And I'm like, okay, all right. And sticking with the truck driving championships, for drivers listening who never competed, what would you say to encourage them to just step out and try it?
I would say I never thought I would be here, and I took the chance. Do it. If you are a competitor, maybe you competed in high schools and stuff, this was definitely a lot better than running a marathon. Getting out there and doing that, you never know. You're going to meet some incredible people. If nothing else, you'll meet some incredible people. And like I experienced, it can be just an incredible. You never know what it'll turn into. I never would have thought 9 months ago that this is where I'd be.
Right, exactly. And if I can interject, just breathe, guys. And gals, just breathe. It's all good. You don't have to hold your breath while you're doing it. What lessons from the competition and from serving as a competitor have made you even better as a professional driver?
I'm a lot more knowledgeable, for sure. And that not only the TDC, but also with becoming a road team captain, because of all the preparation. And it took me from a local driver really just caring about what I do to a national level, and really looking at issues that are facing the trucking industry, and not just me, but uh, independent drivers, company drivers, long haul drivers. And I think trying to help them, and going back to the TDC, hopefully helping some of my local drivers, and my fellow drivers with UPS there, helping them maybe make it to nationals and using that experience to help them out.
Exactly. And I was talking to a couple drivers today. We was on the phone, and some guys was asking me about the competition and everything. And I said, that Facts for Drivers, it's a boring book, and it's even more boring when you listen to it on audio. You sit here and you think, oh, I don't care that this bridge I went across is considered a good bridge or an average bridge. But you said it best, Jeff. There's so much knowledge that you pick up and you learn that it may sound senseless, but it's good knowledge to have, So, Tim, go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit about your career and safety, and let's go into that just a little bit. So, after 23 years behind the wheel, of a big truck, what safety principles have become second nature to you?
I would say kind of getting the big picture, knowing what's in front of you, what's beside you, what's behind you, and expecting the unexpected. So, when someone's coming up next to you and there's not much room between that person and maybe the person in front of this guy coming up next to you, and he's going to cut over in front of you, and you just kind of get that sense and slow down and let them, sure enough, they kind of get in front of you and go. And so it's just that kind of that spatial awareness.
Gotcha. Was there any defining moment in your career that shaped the driver that you are today? Anything that stands out to you, Jeff?
What was big is UPS has something called the Circle of Honor, and we do it by years, not really miles. And from all the way at the beginning of my career, it was 25 years you make it into that Circle of Honor. And that was something that I strive for every year. And I'm at almost 27 years safe driving, and want to make that 30-year mark now. That's kind of the next, 5-year increments. And so that was huge to get that a couple years ago. And, very appreciative of the company for that.
Yeah. And I'm going to kind of tag on to that question there, just off the top of my head here. How many more years do you think that Jeff will be driving a truck?
I've thought about that, and it's probably maybe about 6 years or so, and maybe it might be a couple more, might be a little less, but I figure that's probably good. And I think my wife has a few more years at her job or her career, and I think we might finish up around the same time, but that'll give me close to 40 years, and I think that's a pretty good milestone.
That's definitely a good career for sure. And not to talk too much about myself, but I'm looking at about 5 or 6 more years, and that'd give me about 37 years, 38 years in the industry. Not industry, but in the with the company I'm with now. Be over 40 years with the industry altogether. But for a new driver that's just coming in, let's just say somebody brand new, just got their CDLs, that's trying to get into the industry, what advice would you give that driver?
Just work hard, put your dues in, and for those people maybe that don't even have their CDL, there's so many things in the trucking industry. I started out as a loader and worked my way up into the big trucks. For those 18, 19, 20-year-olds, they may not be able to cross the state lines, stuff like that, but get your foot in somewhere. It's a great industry. It's solid. It's essential. Everybody, trucks move everything. And so you're going to have a job, and it might be driving the truck, could be a mechanic, loader, dispatch. There's so many things that they can get into in the industry.
Right, right. And I know that, there's been a push for 18-year-olds to be able to drive across state lines and stuff like that. And then, I know there's different opinions on the spectrum from one end to the other. What's Jeff's opinion of that?
Well, I think that if they are qualified, you need to be in I know there's a big thing about the schools, so go through a good school. And I think if they can be in war, they should be able to drive a truck. Now, it may not be for everybody. There are some people who are that age, and they may not be good drivers. And it's kind of on an individual basis. You got to take it off of each person. There are people who can handle it, who are responsible, and there are people who could be over the 21 who probably shouldn't be driving a vehicle either. And so I think it has to be looked at more closely.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. It's got to be the right candidate at the right time for sure.
Yeah.
As for myself, I grew up on a farm, just always been around heavy equipment and stuff like that. So it was kind of a natural fit for me. And, Steve, he rode his tricycle around pulling the wagon. He thought he was a truck driver at 3 years old with a dirty diaper
Nice.
on.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And he still has the dirty diaper on every now and then.
Shh, Tim, we're supposed to tell those. Those are after hours talk. No, I agree with you. I'm kind of far fetching it here, but just to make an example, there's some 12-year-olds that are more mature than 30 or 40-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
The 12-year-old should be driving more than a 40-year-old. But go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I'll get back on track here. So Jeff, so after 34 years, what still motivates you to be, to bring excellence to what you do every day? I mean, 34 years in the industry, what keeps you going?
I'll paycheck for one, but
That's right. That helps.
But UPS has been a great company to work for, and they've given me a life that I probably couldn't have imagined way back when I needed that job. I also, it's just wanting to go out there and do a good job. And I'm not going to lie, the becoming a part of the TDC and the America's Road Team, kind of reignited that fire, and it has helped to spark that excitement, in me again. Not that I didn't have it before, but it adds to it. It's kind of that another layer, that icing on the cake. And I love what I do. I love what I do, to get out there and to listen to the radio, look around, and know that I'm helping somebody by getting what they need to them.
Right, right. And you know what? Well said. I mean, because, and we all know it here, there's nothing nothing without trucking. We'll go ahead and say that, give the motto out there, but, everything we have. I mean, this ink pen that I got right here, hauled on a truck somehow, some way it got to me. It didn't come on a ship. It didn't come on a plane. It might have it, but it didn't come to my door. You're right. Either a UPS or a FedEx come to my door.
Yep.
I'm not biased. I get packages from both of them.
Yep.
So, let's just move on here. So looking ahead, what goals do you still have personally and professionally?
Well, I think, I would love to, of course, be a grand champion with the TDC. I want to make a difference help make a difference with the ATA and America's Road Team. And I want to help some of our drivers make it to nationals, and to just be a good role model on how to do things the right way, safely, ethically, morally, all that.
Right, right.
Exactly. And I like that. I like that. And I'm going to kind of change gears here a little bit and go with faith, strength, and overcoming adversity. Uh, Jeff, you're an 8-year survivor of cancer. Thank God for that and everything. How did that battle change your perspective on life and trucking?
Man, that was some of the hardest time. That was one of the hardest times in my life, and especially the call to. I just went to go get stitches out in my neck, and it was got the news that it was squamous cell carcinoma, and I kind of just went, wait, what? Cancer?
Yeah.
And that the calls to my wife, and because I didn't expect that, the calls to my wife and the kids were some of the hardest calls I had to make and break that news. And in fact, we'd gone. My kids are in a different state now, and we went to one of my daughter's graduations, and I knew the news. I had the news, but I didn't want to rain on her parade. And they kept asking me, "So you haven't heard anything?" No, I hadn't heard anything. And got back home and made the calls to him, and that was tough. But I'd never had any problems, so it definitely made me question our mortality and maybe not. I wasn't Superman after all, but that it also tells us we don't know when our time is, and we got to make the most of it.
Amen. During that session, what kept you mentally and spiritually strong?
My wife, she got me through it. She took care of me. She pushed me to eat. I lost like 47 pounds. Had 3rd-degree burns on my neck. It was stage 4 head and neck cancer. And I know I wasn't probably the best patient, but and she understood that. She's been a caregiver to her daughter, and but she kept pushing me. You got to drink, you got to eat, and then my faith. My people at the Catholic Church, they friends, and my sense of humor. Yeah. You can't just let it beat you. You gotta still laugh. You gotta have that faith and knowing that I wanted to be around for my kids and possible future grandkids and stuff. So
They what they say, laughter is the cure all. So
Yep.
you got to keep smiling and keep trucking on, as we say.
Yep.
One last question for me on this subject here. How did your UPS family and the trucking community support you during that time?
Well, I got calls. I know one of the drivers who's now retired. He came by and during one of my chemo sessions and stuff, and sat with me, and I wanted to. After I was done, I kind of went back right away, and I had some of the guys in a head and neck cancer support group say, they were out for 6 months. Head and neck cancer, some of the hardest, I guess, according to my nurse at the time to go through. And I wanted to get back working. And I think I was back about a month after I finished chemo, and that's cumulative. So I think 2 weeks after I was done was like the worst I was feeling. But I got back in the truck, and everybody was, glad to see I was back. And I think concerned, I definitely didn't look the way I did when I left, but they were glad I was back, and definitely supported me with calls and and support.
Nice. You can always count on your family, definitely, but you can always count on your community and the trucking community. Well, you've got TAT, you've got the St. Christopher Fund, you've got all that, and you can always count on that trucking community. So thank you. Hey, prayers, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Rock on. Tim?
Did you get to ring the bell?
You know what? They didn't have the bell. I think that was something that I've heard about, but my that center just didn't do it. For whatever reason, and that's okay.
Right, right. How did you I mean, you are cancer free now, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. How did you celebrate that?
Uh, we did go out to the bar and had a bunch of the guys from work there and friends, and we celebrated. Not too much, but we did. It was. I think they wanted to come celebrate me, and I wanted to just be around those people that were there to
Right.
support me. So right during that time, I also came out of one of those surgeries, and it was my 30-year class reunion, and I made a quick appearance, and those guys, I hadn't seen some of them in 30 years, and they had taken up a collection, and it just blew me away. Those I'll give a shout out to the class of '87 at Cibola High School, but
There you go.
that was totally unexpected.
Yeah, yeah. And Jeff, I'm not going to tell everybody you're probably around 57 or 58 years old, right?
Yep, 57 just turned.
Because the reason I say that is because I graduated 87 also. So
There you go.
yeah, we got a lot in common there, brother. I missed the 80s. Let me tell you,
Oh, I know. Yep, I agree with you.
I come out in '86, and speaking of the '80s, every once in a while I get away from the talk shows and I go to the '80s on Sirius XM.
Oh yeah.
And flashbacks start coming of different things, and it's like, oh wow, I forgot about that. So,
Steve gets flashbacks of wearing his parachute pants.
no, I never had parachute pants. I was
did.
Hey, I was too much of a truck driver. It was blue jeans, buddy, boots and blue jeans. So.
Oh, I got you. I got you. So Jeff, let's talk a little bit about your family here a little bit. So,
Yeah.
you've been married to Catherine for 12 years. So, how important has her support been to you throughout the years, through your career? And you did mention it a little bit while ago
Yeah.
about through your cancer journey. So, just kind of tell us all about that. Brag on her, man. Brag on her.
Yeah, and I need to, because I got to make up for the TDCs when they announced me as the rookie of the year. I jumped up and I had drivers hugging me. I never hugged her, and I felt so bad after I got back to the table. But she is the best. She has supported me. She took care of me. She's one of those people that just everybody just wants to be around. She's got that kind of a personality, and she I can't say enough good things. She makes me want to be a better husband, a better father, just a better person.
Right, right. And it's always good to have that support system behind you for sure. Not only, just on your job, but in life in general. You got to have that partner in life that supports you and you support them. It's not 80-20, it's 100 and 100. You got to give 100 100 to everybody else. So hats off to you. And
I got to bring up one other thing.
Yeah.
This says a lot about her. We pick our runs every year, and I know back, I don't know, 6 years ago or so, I could have gotten a run that made more money, but it started at 11 o'clock in the morning, and at the time I was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a good run, but it was this other one that I could have gotten came up. It was more miles. And she said, I would rather have you home for dinner than to make more money. And that just hit me so hard.
Yes. Yes.
And that's, we was talking about mileage runs, before the show started and all that. That's one reason, I stay on a pretty moderate run. I don't go after the miles,
Yeah.
To me at this point in my life, I'm not chasing the dollars, for sure. It helps, but I'm
Sure.
not. I could make more. I really could. I could take a better run, but I just don't. It's time's important. Speaking of time, let's talk about, 5 grandchildren, two bonus step children and a granddaughter. How in the world do you balance family life with the demands of a truck driving job?
Yeah, well, it's five kids, and then the two step kids, and the one granddaughter. And um, I found out last week I'm going to be number two granddaughter or grandson. I don't know yet, but so we're excited about that. We just found that out, and it was a lot. It's a lot easier now because they're all grown up and kind of out of the house. But back in the day, yeah, it was it was a lot. But they're important. They're why we're here. And I was involved in Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. I was there with one of the kids having a hard time. I would go in and volunteer in their class almost every day,
Yeah.
and then still get home and get my rest before. And that's when I was working nights, and it made it a little easier because I was able to do that and then kind of go get my rest. And it's yeah. I mean, we do it all for our kids.
Yep, sure do. Sure do. Okay, we distinguished here that you're a husband, a father, and a grandfather, but you've also got a busy, busy career going. A lot of things are happening here recently, and going to continue. Uh, what's that all mean to you, being a father and a husband and a grandfather during this time of this busyness that you got going on?
It's a lot, and for the selections, I almost didn't go. My father-in-law's in the hospital. He's been in there since January 7th, and I asked my wife, "Do you not want me to go? Do you want me to stay here with you?" And she said, "No, that would make me feel worse." But that's what you do, and we actually we lost my stepdaughter in 3 years ago, in well, almost 4 years, 2022, and she was in a wheelchair her whole life, and um, it was it was an honor for me to be able to act as her father and that stepdad role, and try to get her out to to see whatever she wanted to see. And
Right.
she taught me how to be fearless because she worked with kids, she rode horses, she did adaptive rock climbing, and was in a wheelchair her whole life. And so thinking about her got me to kind of do some of these other things, and hey, give this a shot. And she showed a lot of people. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere without somebody knowing her. And
That's awesome.
she's gotten me to step out of my comfort zone and try these things.
Exactly. Exactly. I got kind of I don't know, tough question here, maybe. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave for your children and your granddaughter, future grandchildren?
Yeah. um I hope that they know that I worked hard for them, and sometimes missed things and worked long shifts or whatever, so that I could provide for them in the best way possible, and to show them the value of hard work. And I know I didn't do everything right, but I tried. And if we didn't do it right, get up the next day and try to do it better. I always ask in my prayers, help me to be a better husband, help me be a better father, a better worker, a better friend, every day.
Amen. That's what I try to be, a better person tomorrow than I was today.
Yep.
Not that I was a bad person today, but I can be better, I'm sure.
Sure.
And when younger drivers look at your achievements, what do you hope they see beyond the trophies and the titles?
That I wanted to be a good role model to drive safe, to be a good worker, to help other people, to make a difference out there in the world. And it really doesn't come down to the awards and the trophies and everything else. I mean, we want to get home every night to our families, and that's hopefully I can show them or help them, be that role model,
Exactly. Be a good mentor.
be a good mentor. There you go.
That's the thing. I talk to individuals that I look at, men and women both, and I look up to them as mentors. And they'll look at you and naturally say the human thing, oh no, I ain't no mentor. Believe it or not, you are being a mentor. You may not be, you're teaching me something. Just having a conversation with you, I'm learning something. Maybe it's how you word things, how you handle yourself. It's everybody mentors everybody. So, Tim, you want to go with the fun question?
Well, I'm going to save that for a few more minutes there, but I do want to ask you, as far as being a UPS driver, and tell us a little bit about your experience, with Truckers Against Trafficking.
All of this honestly has been a brand new thing to me. Like I had said before, I've been the TDCs. I was just I guess it was certified as a Trucker Against Trafficking, and having kids and grandkids and relatives. That the Truckers Against Trafficking is brand new to me, but it's important, and we are out there on the road where we can keep our eyes open and look for this, because it really is a problem out there, and something that I think is becoming more. People are becoming more aware of it, but there's still so much more that can be done. And again, I'm getting into all this stuff, and I'm just sucking it up like a sponge and trying to help get this out to not only just the people not only the workers I work with, but people I just come in contact with, neighbors, family, to hopefully make a difference out there. And you never know who, just by keeping your eyes open, and something that might look strange, you could be saving someone from that trafficking.
Yeah, right. And like you said earlier, UPS just got in with the doing the TDCs, over the last couple of years and all that, and they've had a big push, I think, for Truckers Against Trafficking within the last several years. Is there anybody that of that works for UPS that you look up to as far as a mentor? Don't say
I've met. Yeah, Wayne. You know what? There's been a lot of these guys. I can't say necessarily anybody locally, but in the last year, 9 months, I've met so many guys that I just look up to, that really have helped me out in this. There's this group with the TDC, and then there's been a group with the road team, and we did get help from Greg Wilson and Bernie Waino, or Wanyo, I guess. I always get that kind of mixed up. I'm sorry, Bernie.
I do the same thing. I call him Waino too.
I don't think Bernie matters, just as long as you say his name. It's all matters. Love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
And Kevin Burns, and then of course Wayne, who's all those guys were huge in helping us, because we've only had guys in the last 2 cycles from UPS get into the America Road Team. So we look to those guys to help us out. And I know Wayne is at home recovering from surgery on his shoulder from patting himself on the back, but
You had to say that when I was going to take a drink.
But no, though, there are so many guys that I could thank from, for the road team, for the TDC and my management team as well. Those guys have been supportive in all this, and they're learning just like the rest of us here in New Mexico, and then the national management team. I think that we've gotten so much support from all those people that I'm hoping I can pass that along.
Yeah, absolutely. And good answer there for sure. I do want to ask you one last question, and this is what we call the post trip part of the show.
All right.
We're coming in and we're fixing to post trip this show, and we're gonna make sure everything's good before we put it up for next week. There, right? So, one fun question here. So, if you could drive any truck where in the world, would it be, and hauling anything you wanted to for fun, what would you choose and why?
Well, in my younger days, I would have said I want to drive the trailer carrying all the guitars and the drum set for some rock and roll band or country, but I'm too old for that now, and I might do maybe the equipment truck for the Chicago Bears or the Cubs or even a car hauler for NASCAR. I think
Yeah.
that any of those would be just great to do.
That would absolutely be cool for sure, for sure. I kind of thought about that question. I think, you know what? Let me throw that question to Steve over there.
Well, there's two that really come to mind. One in the U.S., and I would like to try the ice road trucking.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I could stand the cold, but I would really like to go up there and do the ice road trucking. I got two buddies of mine that do that, and they love it. But and the big one, this has always fascinated me, and that's the Australian trains.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love to go to Australia and drive one of the trains.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Well, Jeff, we're coming up to the top of the hour here, and we're going to end the show. We always end with a word of encouragement and a word of safety, and so we always let our guests go first, then Steve, and then I'll close the show out. But we want to thank you again as host and co-host of the Truckers Voices. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Yes.
Also, as veteran uh, America's Road Team captains, we wish you well. Listen, these 2 years is going to go by so fast. Just embrace every event that you get and everything that you do.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you do and for having me on. It was an honor and fun to be on here. So thanks again.
We try to
Keep up. What's that?
I said we try to make it fun.
Oh yeah, it was. So, but I guess my tip would be to we all want to get home, and if you're out there, just take a deep breath, slow down, and use your turn signals to communicate with your other fellow travelers out there. Let them know what we're all doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Steve-O, you want to talk to the listening audience and just some closing remarks there, brother?
Yes. Again, thank you very much, Jeff. Man, I hope we get a chance to work together on a road team event. Looking forward to it. And I tell you what, don't be afraid to ask any questions. Just ask away to all the questions to the captains. On behalf of Truckers Against Trafficking, folks, see something, say something. It's an easy number to remember, 888-3737-888. And just, you see it, say it. I mean, it's better to say it and not be something than not say it and be something. And with that, thank you all for tuning in. As I always say, stay true, stay safe, and remember the most important trip is that trip home.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve-O. Well, Jeff, that was an incredible conversation that we had. And your story is reminding that trucking is more than just moving freight. It's about excellence, resilience, safety, faith, and family. And Jeff, we truly appreciate you taking time to share your journey with us. To everyone listening, whether you're behind the wheel, rolling down the highway, or you're watching from home, thank you for being a part of Truckers Voices family. We also want to give a big thank you to Patrick Laura, our sponsor there. Thank you, Patrick, for sponsoring Truckers Voices.
Thank
And
you.
of, and of course, a big shout out to our partners, Reach Across America Radio, as well as everyone listening on the Odyssey app and the TuneIn app. We're honored to share these stories across all these platforms. If you missed any part of tonight's episode, you could always catch us on the replay and find more episodes at truckersvoices.com. That's your home for everything Truckers Voices. All right. So until next time, keep it between the lines, stay safe out there, and remember, every driver has a story and every driver has a voice. See y'all next time on Truckers Voices.
See y'all. Thank you.
Trees line the roadside, the sun shines in the grass. Hilly hill behind me, another overpass. Loading out Abilene, headed to the coast. The freedom of the 4-lane is the thing I love the most. 18 wheels take me through rain and sleet and snow. 13 gears will pull me anywhere I want to go. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it, but I know there's a lot of people out there that are